Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to add Postgres database to this application. Currently it is returning response as from the static list. Let me show the code as well. So here this is my solution which we used in my previous two videos also for dockerizing these applications and running with HTTPS. In this third video, we are going to add Postgres support on this. So currently, we are having this static list and all that CRUD operation we are doing on this static list. So instead of that, now we are going to add Postgres from Docker. So let's open the Postgres official image, and I'm going to pull Postgres in my system, and I'm going to use this Alpine image. We are having multiple options here, but I'm going to pull Alpine image. So let me move to my terminal here, and here I'm going to pull Alpine. Before that, let me run Docker images command. So currently I just have hello docker, what image we used in previous video. Now I am going to pull Postgres. So in the tag I am saying Alpine, and let me hit enter. So this will pull Postgres Alpine image. So let's wait for it. Now downloading has started. And till then, we can do one thing. We can add required NuGet packages in our Visual Studio. So let's move to Visual Studio until this process is getting complete. So let me stop my application here, and let's open the NuGet package manager solution. So we are going to use entity framework. So let's search for entity framework core, and this one we are going to install. We are on .NET 8, so I'm using latest .NET 8 version. If you are on lower .NET version, then you need to change the version for it. And also we need one more thing, that is tools, because we are going to run migrations, and for migrations we need this package. So let's install this as well. Okay, now entity framework core is installed and tools is installed. Now I need one more package for Postgres. Yeah, this one. So let's select this, and I'm going to install this as well. Yeah, so this is also installed. Now let's verify this. Maybe I will open my project file, and here you can see that entity framework core, tools, and this npgsql entity framework core.postgresql, and all are 8.0 because I am running on latest .NET 8.0. Now go back and see the Docker pull is done. Now if I will run Docker images command, so I am able to see two Docker images. Now let's move to this official Docker Postgres official Docker image page, and here uh, we have examples to run this Docker run to create a container. So let me copy this command and let's paste it here, and name maybe I will say YouTube demo. Password I will say YouTube, and also few more parameters I am going to pass. If you will scroll down here, so password we have already passed, and these are the optional parameters, but I'm going to pass it. Postgres user, so I will say user equals to SA, and DB also I'm going to say like our DB is if I will not pass, then also it is fine. So maybe let's not pass DB and remove this D here, and I think we are good. Yeah, one more thing I missed. I can pass the port as well. So port for that Postgres is usually 5432. So I'm going to say port for external and internal. It should be 5432 and hit enter. Oh, just a minute. I'm going to stop it because I missed to give Alpine tag in the image, and because of that it started pulling the latest Postgres image, but I don't want to pull it again. So let me add Alpine tag also here, and hopefully this time it should take the image what we have already pulled. So let me hit enter now. So now we can see that database system is ready to accept the correction. So before we connect with the application, let's try to connect this with some, maybe I have DB so I will try to connect this through DB and see if I'm able to successfully connect this new database or not, which we created through this Docker container. So this is my DB viewer, and from here I'm going to create a new connection for PostgreSQL, and our host is localhost only. We are running on 5432 only. Database, let's keep default Postgres, and username, it is not Postgres, it is SA what we have defined, and password we have defined as a YouTube. Remaining thing will be same only, and let's try to click on test connection. So we can see that our connection is successful, and if I will try to click on finish, so I am able to connect. So now let's Our container is running and we have verified this with the dbviewer. So let's move to Visual Studio. Here we have already added the required NuGet packages like Entity Framework Core, Entity Framework Core.tools for migration, and this NPG Entity Framework Core PostgreSQL. So let's close this as well, and to connect this we need to define the connection string somewhere, right? So let's do that step first, and open this app settings.development.json file, and here I will add the connection strings, and this is a connection string I'm going to add, like host is localhost, port is 5432, user ID SA, password YouTube, and database, let's say employee. Now we need tables and DB context as well, right, to uh, define our database and for the connection, etc. So let's create one more folder, and I will call this folder as a model. And under the model I'm going to create a new class. I will say that class is employee DB context, and let's inherit this class with the actual DB context. Now we need table also, so we let's add just one table as this DTOs. So maybe we can copy this. Let's create one class first in the model. I am going to say employee, and let's copy this entire code from DTOs to this model folder. And also let's add key keyword here, although it is not required, because if you are giving ID, if this is a naming convention we are following, so entity framework will recognize it and it will take it as a primary key only, but let's define it explicitly. So now our table model class is ready. Now I can add the db set property prop, and here it should be db set employee, and I will call it as a employees. And another thing I'm going to add here, I'm going to add one constructor to pass the database options. So if you will open this base class, and here if I will search for constructor, so this is the constructor which I'm going to use. The DB context options I'm going to pass. So let's add this constructor in our employee DB context as well. Change this to employee DB context, and we need to pass this to our base class as well, right? So I can add the base keyword, and let's pass these options in the base class as well. Great. Now next thing is we have defined our connection strings in the app settings.development. We have created our model and DB context class. That's good, but now next we need to define this in the program.cs file and saying that add db context. So here I will say like builder dot services dot add db context, and here I can define the type of my class, which is employee db context. So I will say employee db context, and here I will say u dot, if you will scroll down it will say use npgsql. So this is the method which we are going to use, and here I need connection string. So let me say variable connection equals to empty string now, and let's pass this connection here. So it is empty string, but we should read it from app settings, right? We have defined our connection here in the app settings. So let's read it from app settings. So I will say like builder dot configuration dot get connection string, and what is the name of the connection string? It's employee connection. Okay, great. Now is we have defined our DB context and our employee table is also ready. We have added that in the our program.cs file to add the DB context, and we are able to read that connection string, and we are able to pass in the DB context as well. So as a next step now, I think we can add migration to our project, and if all is working fine, so it should create a database and tables for us. So I will say add migration, and let's give name as a init. So it started building our application. So it will build our application first, and then it will start for the migration. So let's wait for build to complete, and then we can verify for the migration. Still it's building. Yeah, build is succeed now. Yes, so our migration script is generated successfully, and if you will observe here, it created this migrations folder with this init class as well. And now let's don't forget to run update database command, because this will update the database. Here it just created the script, but if you will run update up update database command, this will update your database. So let's wait for it, and yeah, this is also done. Now if I will go back to my DB viewer, and I will edit this connection because I connected through Postgres, but the database what we created is a employee database. So let's see if I'm able to connect to employee or not. So yes, employee connection is also done. Let's say yes. So now I'm able to connect to employee. And let me expand this schemas, and here I can see tables. So this two tables, one is for migration and one for employees, is created. Let's view this table. So currently we don't have any data in it. So now we are good to modify our controller methods and replace that static data with the actual database. So let's move to Visual Studio, and here in the employee controllers, step one is, I'm not going to use this employee static list now. Instead, let's create one private read-only employee DB context underscore underscore employee DB context, and let's copy this and add it here in the constructor, and let's assign our employee DB context with the injected values. And for now, to avoid the build errors, let's uncomment this, and let's change only first this get method. So it should be underscore employee DB context. And in the actual scenario, you should not directly inject your DB context in the controller. Maybe best ways, you should have some repository, and there you should segregate that code. But to demonstrate, I directly injected it here. So employee DB context dot employees dot select dtos dot employee first name equals to u dot first name, last name equals to u dot last name, and id equals to u dot id. So I will return directly this statement now, and let's remove this. Now let's modify this get employee by id method as well. Sorry. So I will say employee db context dot employees dot any. Then I will say let's copy this entire statement before this. Now let's change this post method as well. So here first let's create model dot employee equals to new model dot employee, and here let's map the values from DTOs. So I will say first name, okay, and now employee DB context dot employees dot add employee, and then employee DB context dot save changes. Let's remove this. Now we are done with the post as well. So now before we make any other changes, let's verify these three methods. So let me run the application. So currently we don't have any data. So first, after running the application, we will try to post few data and then verify our get and get by ID methods. If this three is working, then we will work on update and delete. So I'm waiting for Swagger window to be open. Build has started and it's taking time. Yeah, Swagger is started, but before that I just realized that we made one mistake. So this employee is a primary key. It's auto-generated. Uh, that identity key is there, and we should not even have this ID here in the employee class as well. So for now, maybe I will just modify this controller and I will not pass ID here. And now let's rerun it. Okay, so now let's try to post some data. So let's say Tapan Dubey, and let's hit enter. So we received 200. Now let's try to run this get method. So we received Tapan Dubey as well. Let's verify one in the database as well. Do we see refresh here? I don't see. Okay, maybe I will refresh this table. Yeah, so we can see that Tapan Dubey is populating here as well. And let's verify this other method as well. With one, I should get Tapan Dubey. So I am getting Tapan Dubey, and with two, as we don't have anything, I should get not found. So I am getting not found. So far, so good. Now let's continue for our update and delete method. Yeah, so let me scroll down here, and here I will say variable emp equals to employee db context dot employees dot first or default u dot id equals to id, and this one I will say like if emp equals to null, then return not found, and if employee is there, then I am going to update these two values, and Then I will say employee DB context dot save changes. Similar to this, let me copy this and here it will be if employee is null then return not found, and here because we have already selected this, so employee DB context dot employees dot remove employee, and then I will say DB context dot save changes, and here instead of dtos dot employee, let's change this to action result only, and here I will say maybe okay. So now we have done with all the methods. Now let's rerun it and verify our changes. So now with this three we have already verified. Now let's try to update it. So I know ID is 1. Here also I will say 1. And instead of Tapan Dubey, I will say ABC test, and I will update this. So I received 200. Now let's get that record. So yeah, it is updated successfully. Now let's try to delete our record. So let's try it out. ID is 1 and let me try to execute this. So it is 200. Now if I will try to run for ID 1, so it is saying not found. So yeah, we are able to successfully change this CRUD operation with PostgreSQL, which is running through Docker container. Now, in the next step, I'm going to deploy this application again with this latest changes and see if it is working through Docker container or not. And if it is not, then we'll see why it is not working. So let's start. So one more thing I just want to show, like if currently this Postgres container is running, and if I will stop this, let me try to stop this container. So yeah, now it is stopped, and if I will try to run this get command again, so I am getting a connection error because my container is stopped. So remember, my application is depend on PostgreSQL container, and if it is not running, if the container is not running, then my application is started throwing errors. So remember this point. This is very important when we will go in the some next steps. I don't want to share the details now, but remember this issue. So now I navigated to the solution where we are having our solution files. Let me list out. So I came here and now I'm going to create new that latest image for our changes. So let me run Docker images as of now. So we can see this two image, and Docker ps. Here we should see only one container for Postgres. That's fine. Now let's build latest image for our latest changes what we made recently. So I will say Docker, then build, and then the tag should be same what we have given, hello Docker. Then file, in the file, if I will come here, this folder path I should give it. Under it we are having Docker file, so let me copy this folder path. Docker file, and then context is dot, and let's hit enter. So it started building. It is building. Let's wait for it. Let me stop the video and restart once it is done. So it's finished now. Now let me run Docker images again, and we can see that it is updated 22 seconds ago. So now let's create our container again with the command which we executed in the previous video as well. So let me hit enter. Yeah, so my application is up and running. Now also let's start in the another terminal window. Let's start our Postgres container also, which was stopped, and our application stopped working due to the dependency. So I will say Docker PSA, and here I can see that FF9 is the ID for Postgres. So I will say Docker start FF9. Now if I will run Docker ps command, so I can see both of my containers running. Now let's navigate to port 8080 and 8081 and see our applications running under the Docker. So I will say localhost 8080 slash swagger slash index.html. So it is loading now. Let's run with HTTPS as well. It should be 8081 for HTTPS. So it is loading for HTTPS as well. Now let's try to execute it and it will not work, it will throw some error. So let's see. So it is saying that due to transient failure, but but if I will try to run this through Visual Studio, and now let me try to execute this. So this time I'm not getting any error because the container is restarted. We lost the data as well. So this is another issue. So in this video, I'm stopping it here. In the next video, we are going to discuss next points on this. Like currently, number one thing which we found here is the dependency on DB container. So we need to make sure each time whenever we are running our application, we need to manually check our DB container is running or not. That is the one problem. Number two problem is each time DB container is restarting, we are we lost data. And number three problem is we are unable to connect DB from container network. So in next video we are going to discuss on these 3 points basically and see the possible solutions on this. We will create Docker Compose file. We will discuss about the bridge network and other stuffs. So that's all for this video. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe, give your valuable feedback, and please share with your friends. Thank you for watching. See you in next video. Thank you.